All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, so let's get ready to get into it. Everyone, please get the likes up. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay. With that all being said, go ahead and get those likes up. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about some things that you should not apologize for ever. And this is not according to me. This is according to psychologists. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. All right, hello, Kathy, Claudette, Jonah is here, Dragon Lily. All right, Shelby is here. Let me pull up my, hold on. Okay, here we go. I'm trying to pull up my chat on my phone. All right, so let's get ready to get into it. Let's get into it. All right, here we go. Sorry, I'm disorganized, beloveds. Okay, so let's talk about it. 10 things that you should not apologize for to anyone. And this is according to psychologists. So there's a clear difference between being polite and constantly apologizing. Apologizing too often can actually diminish your self-esteem and your confidence. Now, psychologists suggest that there are certain things that you don't need to apologize for. And at the end of the day, we're going to get into it. Okay? 10 of those things. Now, and of course, mind you, I'm not saying, and neither are the psychologists who did this research, not saying that you shouldn't apologize when you know you were absolutely wrong, when you hurt someone, you disrespected someone, you did something rude. At the end of the day, you should apologize for those things, absolutely, if you didn't mean to do them, and if you are actually sorry. Now, some people want to apologize even when they know that they're dead wrong, because those people may sometimes be narcissists, or they just may be someone who feels like, they're always the victim, even when they do nefarious things to others. Okay, so let's get into it. The first thing you shouldn't apologize for ever is saying no. Okay? You should never apologize for telling someone no at the end of the day. Now, psychologists emphasize the importance of setting boundaries. It's essential for maintaining mental health and self-esteem. So if you ever start feeling guilty for not wanting to tell someone no, even if what they want you to do is going to disparage you in some way, inconvenience you in some way or whatever, and you just don't feel comfortable doing it, well, don't feel bad, because you have to set boundaries. And some people will absolutely try to push your boundaries and will absolutely run over you if you allow them to. Okay, but saying no can sometimes feel like you're letting someone down. It can feel like you're being selfish, and often we apologize for it, but you shouldn't. Sometimes the people that try to make you feel as though you're being selfish are in fact the ones being selfish. And here's the thing. You should learn to stop giving so much. Now, there's nothing wrong with giving and being generous and thoughtful, considerate, kind, and all those things. We all should be those things, okay? But sometimes there are certain people who just run over you, try to take advantage, and take your kindness for weakness. And you can't let people do that. So sometimes you have to learn to stop giving, because takers will absolutely never stop taking, okay? Please pay attention. So with that all being said, you have to worry about yourself, your well-being, your mental stability, and all of that, and also the things that are most important to you. Saying no doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It makes you a self-aware and assertive individual. So stop saying sorry for standing up for yourself and for making sure that you're meeting your own needs first, okay? And that goes for everyone else. Listen, if you don't take care of yourself and if you don't make sure that your own needs are met, how are you going to be beneficial to other people? Just think about it that way. Now, the second thing is your personal choices. Now, this psychologist says, I remember a time when I chose a different career path than what my family had envisioned for me. I felt guilty for not meeting their expectations, and I found myself constantly apologizing. But was I wrong? Well, according to psychology, absolutely not. You see, our personal choices, such as careers, relationships, hobbies, or lifestyle, those are just personal things. They're about us. They're not about other people. You see, sometimes people want to live vicariously through others because there's something that they didn't do, something that they missed as they were moving along life's road and journey, some things that they failed to do, and they just feel like they have they regret these things. Very often, these are our own parents. And so sometimes when parents don't fulfill their own dreams and goals, then they want to put those things on the children to get them to do it. Now, that's all fine and dandy if that's what you choose to do. But if it isn't what you choose to do and you don't feel comfortable and you have other plans for yourself, then please feel free to go right ahead and do what you think is best for yourself. Okay? With that all being said, everyone, please remember to get those likes up. Thank you in advance. Now, a famed psychologist by the name of Carl Jung, and you all may remember, those of you who've been following this channel, that I very often use a lot of his research. Okay, I have in the past for my PowerPoint presentations and all of that. He's one of my favorites. Now, he says the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. It is then that you realize, that you don't owe anyone an apology for simply choosing a path that makes you feel fulfilled. This could be your divine destiny. This could be why you were put here on this earth. Okay, this could be what you were meant to do. And so if someone's trying to get you sidetracked, trying to get you to go in a direction you don't want to go willfully, trying to get you to be something other than what you feel, the urging to be or do, well, that's not good. And so don't let people get you off your square. Okay, stand up for yourself and do what you want to do because it's your life. You only have one life to live, and you should not live it by the restrictions, the boundaries, or the thoughts and influences of others who want you to do what they want you to do. They have their own lives. Let them live their lives how they see fit while you are living your best life, seeing how or living it how you see fit. Okay? And also, you should never apologize for past mistakes because everyone makes mistakes. We all fall short of the glory of God. I've told you that a myriad of times. Okay, no one's perfect. We all have a past. I'm sure that all of us have some things that we're not proud of that we've done. But don't let people make you feel bad or disparage you because of it and then make you feel like you have to constantly apologize. Because at the end of the day, it's a learning process. No one is born here on this planet with all of the information. We make mistakes along the way. Our parents try to guide us as best as they can, but even they don't know everything. Now, we all have a past, and let's be brutally honest. We've all messed up. Constantly apologizing for past mistakes that you've already made amends for is like being a hamster in a wheel. Okay, you're just constantly spinning, but never getting anywhere. It's exhausting. Okay, please pay attention. And it gets you absolutely nowhere. And the thing is, let me think of a time or a scenario where people want people to keep apologizing or they keep bringing up past mistakes. These types of things would happen usually in a relationship, a marriage, when someone has cheated, or someone has lied, or someone has done something to hurt the other person. Now, of course, if you've hurt someone, you should be sorry, especially if it's your spouse. But once you have apologized and you're trying to do better and you're showing the proof, not just talking words that they want to hear, but you're actually showing the actions of someone who's changing and trying to be a better person. And then the other person is constantly still bringing it up, constantly still nagging. Every time there's a disagreement or argument, they want to go back to that. Did they really forgive you? Because when people forgive you, they don't tend to continuously throw things up in your face. Now, I'm not saying that they have to forget it. I think that sometimes it's important to remember the things that people do, to remember their transgressions, so that if they do these things again, then you say, wait a minute now, you apologize for that. So if you were sorry for it, why would you keep doing it? See, this is how you notice when people have patterns of certain behaviors or they start doing things that are habitual, okay? At the end of the day, Buckhorse DC says, I apologize, but there's no more. Okay, so if you forgive someone and you want to stay in the relationship and build on it and work on it, you should not constantly be reminding them of their past mistakes unless they continue to make those mistakes. And then at that point, you should be asking yourself, how many times am I going to let them keep doing the same thing before I realize that this is time for me to leave? Okay? At the end of the day. Some people think they can change people, but you can't change people. Only people can change themselves. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, famed psychologist Sigmund Freud, whom I also use a lot of his research, as I'm sure you know, he said, one day in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. Looking back, your mistakes are not something to apologize for, but to learn from. And I tell you that often. Try to make things a teachable moment. Try to learn from past mistakes. And sometimes, as I told you before, you don't have to learn from your own mistakes. You can learn from someone else's. If you see someone else going down the wrong path and it gets them into a situation that's not good, or it leads to their detriment or whatever, then you should know not to do the same things that they did. Okay, even if you were following in their footsteps, even if you were right there with them when they were doing these things, that should be a learning lesson for you. The fourth thing is your feelings. There was a time, this psychologist says, when I would say sorry for being too emotional or too passionate. But then I realized that my feelings are valid and they make me who I am. We all feel, we all have emotions. There's no need to apologize for them. Psychologist and author Dr. Brene Brown once said, vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up and be seen when you have no control over the outcome. Now, it's important for you to know these things and to not apologize for your feelings. And here's the thing: if someone does something to spite you, to hurt you in some way, and they don't want to apologize, yeah, that should be a red flag. Okay, because like I said, when you hurt someone, disrespect them, or you're rude, someone that you care about specifically, then you should absolutely apologize. But that's if you're sorry. Now, if you're not sorry, you should be asking yourself why you're not sorry for hurting someone that you claim to care about. Okay? So don't apologize for your feelings, though. For example, if someone disrespects you and you lash out and you say something to them that disrespects them, well, in that case, they just got what they deserve as far as I'm concerned. Right? I mean, hey, if you can disrespect me, then I can do the same to you. And then some people will disrespect you and then get mad if you do the same to them. Okay, then they'll complain about it. But at the end of the day, it's all fair game when it comes to that, in my opinion. Okay? So don't apologize for your feelings, whether it's anger, sadness, joy, or love. These emotions are part of the human experience, and they deserve to be acknowledged, not apologized for. But let me just add this in. Anger. When you get angry, please try to refrain from doing and saying things that you really don't mean and that you will absolutely regret. You don't want to be saying and doing hurtful things out of spite or being vindictive just because you're upset. Because yes, we are angry. We do get angry sometimes, but you must always remember to rise above your anger into a higher frame of thought. Okay, think before you speak and before you take unnecessary actions. All right. The fifth thing, prioritizing self-care. Now, it may seem counterintuitive, but taking care of yourself first is not selfish. In fact, it's necessary for your mental and physical well-being. There was a time when I felt guilty. Now, this is another psychologist speaking. There was a time when I felt guilty for taking a day off or spending time on my hobbies. But then I realized that self-care is not a luxury. It's a necessity. A psychologist by the name of Abraham Maslow pointed out that it isn't normal to know what we want. It is a rare and difficult psychological achievement. Recognizing the importance of self-care and making it a priority is one such achievement. Now, when you decide to prioritize your own self-care, remember, you don't owe anyone an apology for doing so. Taking care of yourself allows you to be better in taking care of others and being beneficial to others. So there's no need for guilt or apologies. For example, if you feel like you need a vacation, if you feel like you need a spa day to go and relax, and then your spouse is saying, well, you don't really need to spend extra money on that. Well, if you feel like this, if that's how you feel, you need to relax, to just get away and have a breath of fresh air and regroup. Yeah, absolutely, you should do it. Okay, it's worth it. I mean, we spend money on things we don't need all the time, like eating out at fancy restaurants, buying high fashion and high-end clothing that costs hundreds and thousands of dollars in some cases. So self-care is much more important than any of those things. The next thing is your success. Now, I believe that a lot of people who make it big, who become celebrities and they leave the hood and go out to the suburbs and they have money to do things and live their best life, sometimes the people that were friends with them before all of this start to make them feel bad about their success. I literally heard a guy say one day that he felt guilty for his success because he had to leave his friends that he grew up with. He had to leave them behind. He didn't have to leave them behind. They could easily have done what he was doing to get where he got. Okay? Or they could have done something else to be in an equal position or situation as he was in. You should never feel guilty because you're willing to go out there and do the work, get the education, or whatever you need to do to be successful. If there are people on the wayside who you grew up with, family members or whomever, that have not achieved any success and they have nothing going for themselves, that's on them. You have nothing to do with that, and it's not your fault, and you should not ever feel guilty about it. So never apologize for your achievements or success. Celebrate them. You've worked hard and you deserve it. Success is not something that you get. It's something that you attract by the person that you become and through your work, okay, and in trying to achieve your goals. Your success is a testament to your efforts, perseverance, and choices. You don't owe anyone an apology for it. So instead of apologizing, share your journey and inspire others to reach their own success. And sometimes, here's the thing. When I was talking about fake friends, I believe it was on yesterday, some of the things that lead to jealousy and envy are the fact that some people are just not successful. Some people are just not trying to do anything. They're not even giving the minimal effort. Okay, they're just sitting around doing nothing but staying in mischief or just gossiping on the phone, playing video games. They're just not doing anything productive, in other words. And then they see you working hard and trying to be diligent. But at the end of the day, they feel entitled because they know you, they've been around you. They feel like, well, your success should in some way benefit them. Let me tell you a story. There was a man years ago who won the lottery. He won millions of dollars. I think he won like maybe $3 million. Now, this man, being generous, gave some of the money to people in his family, like the intimate family. I don't mean like the entire, all the relatives, okay, but specific members of the family, such as his brother. Now, he gave his brother $100,000. That's a whole lot of money, especially when you didn't have to work for it. Someone gave it to you. So he gave his ungrateful, nefarious brother $100,000, and the brother went and blew the money on foolishness, shopping, buying all kinds of fancy stuff, just doing dumb things rather than trying to invest it or anything. He went and spent up that money, and then what did he do after the money was spent and all gone? He came right back to his brother who won the lottery asking for more. Now, the brother told him, no, I'm not going to give you another dime. I gave you $100,000. Now, if you blew that money, that's your problem. So he told his brother, he became combative and argumentative, and it just showed the ignorance, the ungratefulness, and the entitlement of it all. He told his brother, well, you need to just go ahead and give me that money. It's not like you don't have it, and it's not like you had to work for it. That's what he said. It's not like you had to work for it. If I were the brother, I would have told him, and you didn't work for that $100,000 that I gave you, and that's why you won't get another. Okay? Some people are extremely ungrateful. All right? Absolutely. They feel entitled to the things that you have put yourself in line to get. The seventh thing is your body. So this psychologist says, growing up, I would often find myself apologizing for not fitting into society's beauty standards. But then I realized that body shaming oneself is not healthy. Your body is yours, and it's the only way you'll ever have, or the only one you'll ever have. So as psychologist Carl Rogers once said, the curious paradox is that when I accept myself as I am, then I can change. Let's not apologize for our bodies. Every moment or every body is different, okay? In different moments in life, we may look different. We may gain or lose weight or whatever. But at the end of the day, you are who you are. And don't let people make you feel bad about how you look or whatever. If people tell you, oh, you're fat, you gained too much weight, oh, you're too skinny. Because some people say these things just to make you feel bad about yourself. Some people say these things just to make you feel insecure, to lower your self-worth. Think about how so many people have talked about people of my skin tone, saying that we have full lips and big noses and, talking about the shade of our skin. But then those same people who say these things, some of them will go out there and lie in the sun, try to get our skin tone. They will go get collagen injected into their lips, try to make them bigger. But they'll sit there and talk trash about you and try to make you feel bad about how you look. But in reality, they may want to look like you. Okay, so please pay attention. So let's not apologize for our bodies, because everyone is different and beautiful in their own unique way. Okay, so love yourself, cherish yourself, and above all else, never apologize for who and what you are. And the next thing is ending toxic relationships. So if you have a toxic relationship and you have to cut that person off and they seem like they're so hurt or whatever, and they're playing the victim, and they're trying to guilt you into taking them back, whether it's a friend or an intimate relationship, whether it's a husband or wife, a spouse that wants a divorce because they didn't like the way things were going, at the end of the day, don't allow people to make you feel bad about that. If you're in a toxic relationship, the best thing to do is get out. Okay, because I don't see how those ever end favorably. All right, unless the person that's being toxic changes. Sometimes both individuals are being toxic. Another thing is, something that really makes for a toxic relationship in many cases is people who bond over their trauma. You see, people who bond over trauma, they They may have been through trauma as a child. They may have had a bad relationship or something happened to them tragically in life. But when you bond over trauma, sometimes the toxicity, shall I say, that's within you is still there, okay, bubbling beneath the surface. And then you have another person who has the same thing going on with them, and then it can come to a head. Okay. And sometimes people are fighting each other, arguing all the time. It's always something negative and nasty going on. So walking away from a toxic relationship may seem tough. It may be painful, but it is necessary for your own mental and emotional health. All right. So you don't owe anyone an apology for choosing your peace of mind over a destructive relationship. And one thing that I always tell myself is that if something costs me my peace of mind, then it's too expensive. Okay, I'm not going to be in a relationship with someone who's always arguing, always trying to pick a fight, always being disrespectful and rude. I'm not going to do it. Whether it's an intimate relationship or a friend, just not going to do it. I don't have time. All right, I need my peace of mind and my tranquility. Now, psychologist Albert Ellis once said, "The best years of your life are the ones in which you decide your problems are your own. You do not blame them on your mother, the ecology, or the president. You realize that you control your own destiny." And remember, I tell you all the time that you can create your own reality. Okay, you can absolutely create your own reality through the power of manifestation and visualization and understanding and using the laws of attraction. Now, the law of attraction. Now, if you've had to end a toxic relationship, don't feel bad about it. You've made a brave decision to prioritize your own well-being first, above all else. Instead of feeling guilty, embrace the strength that it took for you to walk away. Because some people cannot walk away. And if it's an abusive relationship that's also toxic, sometimes the people don't get a chance to walk away, because when their abuser realizes that the victim has had enough, is fed up and wants out and is making plans to leave, then they sometimes will do something nefarious to them that causes them not to be able to leave. They'll end their lives. Okay, so keep that in mind. And the ninth thing is not knowing everything. Okay, it may sound counterintuitive, but not knowing everything is not a weakness. It's a sign of being open to learning and growing. Now, of course, we all should know, the ones of us with common sense and who use critical thinking skills, that at the end of the day, of course, we don't know everything. No one does. And I pride myself on being very intellectual, but at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to continue to research and study. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to continue to learn from others. I have a mentor myself at the end of the day. And those of you who follow me on the main channel, you may remember that a couple of years ago, I interviewed Sophia Stewart, who wrote The Matrix. Okay, so which was stolen from her, by the way, and she had to fight to get it all back and all of that. But that is my mentor. That is someone who's older, someone who gives me guidance and helps me with things. I can get advice from her, and she's very wise, okay? And so sometimes, no matter how smart you are, remember, there's always room for improvement. We all should be ever evolving and always learning. As a child, maybe about the age of 9 or 10, I had enough wherewithal to tell myself that I wanted to learn something new every day. That's how I know I've been here before. Because when I was a kid, I had a whole lot of sense that most people don't have until they become adults. Okay, I used to literally read the dictionary every morning before school, before I would leave to go to the bus stop, when I had, extra time or whatever. Instead of sitting there watching cartoons like some of my friends would do, I would sit there and read the dictionary. I would find a word that I didn't know, and I would sound it out. And then I would read the definition of that word and then read the sentence example that they give you so that I would understand the context of how to use that word. Okay. I remember going to a book fair once when I was in 5th grade. My mother wrote a blank check and told me to give it to the teacher for whatever books that I chose to buy. I brought home a box of books. Okay. I literally picked out about 24 books. When I got home, my mother was like, "You bought all those books?" And I was like, "Yes, ma'am." And she was like, "You better read every last one." And I did. Okay. So she bought me more books every time they had a book fair. I always loved to read. And one thing that I always will say, when I was a kid, they used to have this saying. It was a commercial with Carol Burnett. Reading is fundamental. They called it RIF. You see, I had enough sense to know, even as a kid, right, that reading, in fact, broadens your horizons. The smartest, most intelligent people, in my opinion, and I'm sure psychologists would agree with me, are those who actually read and study. The Bible even says, study to show thyself approved. It also says, thy people perish from lack of knowledge. So people who don't like to read, well, to me, they just don't know much. And I know some people like to take shortcuts, but there's nothing more educating and more beneficial than sitting down and reading a good book and getting the information and knowledge. Okay, we can watch videos and all of those things, but it's always good to sit down and read sometimes. You'd be surprised what you can learn. All right? So with that all being said, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, we often apologize for not knowing something as if it's something to be ashamed of. But psychologist Carl Jones says the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. And that includes accepting our lack of knowledge in certain areas. When you don't know something, don't apologize. Instead, see it as an opportunity to learn something new. After all, nobody knows everything, like I just said. Another thing is this. Let me just tell you all something. Sometimes people, have tunnel vision. Let me give you some scenarios. The police, for example. The police could be investigating a homicide case. They may already have made it up in their mind that the likely suspect in the case is the husband, the spouse, because it's the wife who was found deceased, right? And so once they zero in on that person, they may not even be thinking about looking around for anyone else. They may have heard things about this person. Maybe they were abusive, or someone said they heard them and the wife arguing the last time they spoke, right before the wife died. And so they focus in on that person. And sometimes that prohibits them from thinking outside of the box. Now, mind you, in many cases, they're absolutely correct, because most married people are absolutely murdered by their spouses. But what I'm saying is that's not always the case. And so sometimes we have to be sure to remember to think outside of the box. Okay, that's very difficult for some people to do. All right, likes up, everyone, please like and share. There was another example I was going to give you. It was right on the tip of my tongue, but I lost my train of thought. But let me continue. If it comes back, then I'll tell you. But the 10th thing is being true to yourself. So this psychologist says, growing up, I often found myself apologizing for being different. But then I realized that there's nothing wrong with being unique or standing out from the crowd. Staying true to yourself, your values, and your beliefs is something you should never apologize for. Now, as psychologist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl once said, everything can be taken from a man but one thing. And the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Now, but unapologetically, you should be doing these things. Your uniqueness is your strength, not a weakness, and that never needs to be apologized for. Okay, so you should be doing things your way. Like I said, not listening to the rantings of others. Unless, of course, someone's giving you constructive criticism and you're trying to do something that they view as a detriment. You may not see it, but remember, sometimes people on the outside looking in can see things that you can't. And so if it's someone that you know cares about you, then you should know that they have your best interest in mind. So if they're trying to tell you something, say, maybe you should try this first, or maybe you shouldn't do that. And then they give you reasons why that makes sense. Maybe you should heed their warnings. Okay. Like I said, learn from other people's mistakes so you don't have to repeat them. Repeat the mistakes that other people have already made. All right. So with that all being said, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Stacey said, I never apologize for being different. I realize that I am not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. That's the truth. I will tell you all that in a heartbeat. I always say that I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea. In fact, I consider myself to be like black licorice. Okay? Anybody in here like black licorice? One's in the chat. One's in the chat if you like black licorice, because many people don't like it. One's in the chat. Claudette says agreed. Okay. Desmond says be yourself, be authentic. Absolutely. Okay. I see a few people putting ones in the chat. Nancy X put a 2. So let me tell you why I use that analogy, because black licorice doesn't taste very good to the people who don't like it. Now, to the people that do like it, it tastes good, but for other people, to them, it tastes kind of like a medicine-y taste. I'm not crazy about black licorice. Hey, we the people. I'm not crazy about black licorice, but I always compare that to myself because that's how I view myself. You see, here's why. Because black licorice, there's no in between. Either you love it or you absolutely hate it. Some people love it and some people hate it. And that's how I view myself. Some people love me just the way I am. Some people hate me just the way I am. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to change. This is just me. Okay? I'm not going to apologize for who I am, and I'm not going to try to change myself just because some people, their demons possibly are bothered by my spirit. Okay? And neither should you. Gloria says, I love it. Thank you, beloved. All right. So with that all being said, I want you all to pay attention to the broadcast this week because, again, we will be having trivia on Friday. And I'm going to be giving away like 3 ebooks. Okay. For those of you who have the memberships, I know I said this last week and I got sidetracked. I've been very, very busy. I have different projects and things that I'm working on. Okay. With that all being said, and, you know, at the end of the day, I have this big interview coming up and all of that. So I have not posted the masterclass, but I'm going to make sure to do that sometime this week. We're not going to have, like a live broadcast like I usually do. I'm going to do the information. I'm going to pre-record it. And then I will send you all the links and it'll be posted on the channel. Okay, and so for those of you whose emails that I don't have, please send me your email so that you can make sure that you get the link to the masterclass presentation. Okay, Stacy says some people don't like who they are. Exactly, they don't. Now, if you don't like who you are because you know there's some things about yourself that absolutely need to change, then you should change those. But let it be because you don't like the things about yourself, not because other people don't like those things about yourself. And also, if you are someone who's suffering from low self-esteem, low self-worth, you just have self-hate, then you really need to be trying to get some sort of counseling or at least talking to someone, okay, who can motivate, encourage, and inspire you. Because everyone should love themselves, okay? And if you are a person that doesn't have love for self, that's really sad. So you should be working on fixing the things about yourself that you think need to change. All right? Gloria said, thanks, Queen, for everything. You're welcome, beloved. Purple said, what an excellent analogy. Love that. Thank you, beloved. Okay? Darnell said, I hate it, period. Darnell does not like black licorice. Okay, Jadarius, I love that name. Jadarius says, Queen, do you feel like transgender people have self-hate? Yes, I do. I do feel that some of them have self-hate. See, here is my philosophy, and I'm not trying to bash anyone, but this is just my thoughts. Someone asked the question, so I'm going to give you my honest opinion. I feel like some people, they're not happy with themselves as the way that God made them. So they want to be something other than what they are. Okay, to me, that is nonsensical. Some people don't want to be dark-skinned. They don't mind being black, but they just don't want to be so black. Like they wouldn't want to be my complexion. They'd rather be a lighter hue because they feel like a lighter hue of people who are of my race get it easier. And the truth is they do. A lot of light-skinned people get it easier. Okay, but I love my melanin. Some people don't love their melanin, so they go out and bleach their skin. Some people don't like their facial features, so they go and get nose jobs. They go and get different things done. And here's the thing. Years ago, I heard about how some Asian people would go and have a procedure done to their eyes, some type of surgical procedure, so their eyes are not slanted. Now, why would you do that? If that is the way you were born, and that's how the people of your race and ethnic group look, why would you not want to look that way? That is nothing more than self-hate. That's all it is. And so some people want to be things that they are not, and it's also ridiculous. Some people don't like their kinky hair, so they want straight hair. Now, there's nothing wrong with wearing wigs or weaves. You know what I'm saying? I've worn them in my lifetime. But what I'm saying is if you're wearing it because you're ashamed of the way you look without it, or because you don't like the hair that grows from your own head, that's just sad. Because it's okay to use these things as a way to change up, to switch it up, put on a crazy color, like some people walking around with purple or green hair. Well, if that floats your boat, go right ahead. If you don't want to dye your natural hair green or purple. But at the end of the day, just make sure you're doing these things because that's just something you want to do, and not because you feel bad about the way you actually look. Okay? At the end of the day, I think plastic surgery should be reserved for people who've had something, traumatic happen to them that has disfigured them in some way, that has messed up their looks. Not because you're just sitting there looking at yourself in the mirror the way the Most High made you and saying, yeah, you know what, I don't like my teeth, so I think I'm going to go get them all pulled out and get new ones. Now, of course, if you have broken up teeth, rotten teeth, or teeth that are all jumbled on top of each other, well, okay, I absolutely get it. Because we all want to have nice teeth, at least we should. But certain things that are significantly changing your facial features, what are you doing? Why are you changing those things? And then when you have children, the children don't even look like you. Lil' Kim is a prime example. Look how little Kim used to look. And look at how she looks now. There's no way she looks like the same person. And to me, that's just demonic. The fact that she changed her physical appearance, altered herself so much to what she looks like now, which is nowhere near, in my opinion, as beautiful as she was in the first place. Little Kim was beautiful as far as I was concerned. Now she's gone and done all this crazy stuff to herself. She looks like an Asian woman. She doesn't even look like a Black person. She doesn't look like an African American. She looks like she's from a whole nother ethnic group. And so she has a child now, and I'm sure that child doesn't look anything like how she looks right now. That child likely looks like the way she used to look. So that's just really sad. Going out and getting all these BBLs and that are so ridiculous. People can tell they're fake. Okay, if I was going to get something fake, which I never would, but I'm just saying, even if I were, I would get something that looked real at least. Going out there getting all these big BBLs that really don't even match your thighs or legs, you look silly. Going out there getting these fillers put in your face and you don't have to. Now, if you had something happen to your face, that's a different story. But if you're just looking at yourself in the mirror saying, hey, I don't have high cheekbones and I want some, and then you go get fillers put in your face, and then you get fillers put in your chin, that's just crazy to me. And all of these people that go and get this stuff done just for no reason other than vanity, or because they think it's going to make them look better, they all are starting to look alike. As a matter of fact, let me just pull up a few of them so we can see. Like some, everyone please like and share. Let's look at Sierra from Love and Hip Hop. Let's look at her first. After she had all this stuff done to her. Now I'm going to show you how she looked prior. And to me, she was beautiful. To me, she was very attractive. Now she just looks crazy. Okay? I'm going to show a video and I'm going to turn the volume off because it's got music playing. All right? So let's go to how she looked previously. That's her before. This is her now. Before, after. Now, I will say this. I don't think she's unattractive now. I think that Lil' Kim is unattractive at this point. I don't think that Sierra is not attractive any longer. She just isn't as attractive as she used to be, as far as I'm concerned. Let me show one more. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. The other person to me is Brandy from Basketball Wives. Let me see if I can find a picture of her. And again, I will say that Brandy is still attractive. She's just not as attractive as far as I'm concerned. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds. Now, here's a picture of Brandy and her beautiful daughter, who's no longer with us. Unfortunately, she passed away. But here's a picture of Brandy after she started getting surgeries. That's her there. Now, like I said, this is Brandy in the black. That's her daughter in the blue who passed away. I think she was like 24 years old. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a picture of her, if I can find one, real quick before she got plastic surgery. Brandy Bailey before plastic surgery. Let me see here. Yeah, I don't see a picture of her before, but I will say this. What she mostly got done, it looks like she got her mouth done, got her lips enlarged, okay? And then she got fillers in her cheeks is what it looks like. And that's basically the same thing Sierra got done, okay? Sierra from Love and Hip Hop. And then also Lil Kim got her skin bleached, got the fillers put in. Black China's another one who got all that stuff, all that work done on her. But now Black China has had some of those things removed. So I'm just saying that it's all really crazy that people feel so bad about themselves. And nice, they're attractive, they're nice looking people, and they go and do these things to themselves. Look at actor Mickey Rourke. Okay, look at country singer Kenny Rogers. This is all crazy to me. When I was a kid, I always thought Kenny Rogers was a handsome man. Now he doesn't even look like himself. And I know that sometimes when people are growing old, people try to stop the aging process by going to getting facelifts and all this stuff, but and fillers put in their faces. That doesn't look good. And that does not look good. To me, you look better when you just grow old gracefully, the way you were intended to. We all have to get old. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to try to run from. If you're dyeing your hair or something, that's one thing. But physically changing your features, trying to get wrinkles snatched back, having them pull your skin all the back and all that, okay, it's just crazy. Miss Cookie said it's really weird, Queen. Absolutely. Okay. Look at Buckhorse DC talking about, they told me I look like Omar Epps. I said, no, he looks like me. Okay, so I gather you're older than him. All right. So anyway, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I hope you all got something out of this. Remember, don't apologize for certain things. All right. If someone disrespects you, don't apologize for your reaction, because that's the thing too. Some people that's what I was going to tell you guys. Some people do things to you and then they want to dictate how you respond. And if you respond to a way that's not favorable to them, which it usually is when they disrespect you, then they'll say you're doing too much. Okay? No, you're not doing too much. At the end of the day, one good turn always deserves another, as far as I'm concerned. All right? So with that all being said, I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Don't forget to practice the art of visualization, and also make sure that you're manifesting every day. Don't forget, beloveds, that we're all supposed to be working on the 369 methods. For those of you who missed it, the 369 method is a way to try to manifest things in your life. Okay, write down the things that you want, write down the things that you want to achieve, and write them as though they've already happened, and then say those things 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, and 9 times at night before you go to bed. Do this for at least 21 days and see if the things that you want start to show up in your lives. All right, I challenge you to do that. I'm doing it myself. With that all being said, I wish you all love, peace, prosperity, and I hope to see you all in the next broadcast. All right, until next time, beloveds.